Hey guys, and welcome back to Hoosier Hardware once again, but today we're doing something a little bit different because a video game just launched in early release on Steam, and the topic of the video is very near and dear to this channel. So of course I'm talking about PC Building Simulator. Right now it's something like $17 on Steam, though that sale does end. It's actually going to be $20 after the sale ends, and of course you may be able to pick up a cheaper code somewhere else like G2A or elsewhere, but the premise is actually really simple. You take over a PC building / repair shop, and PCs are delivered to your door where you either have to diagnose them, you have to upgrade them, and it's really fine detail. Like you have to take the side panel off, undo the thumb screws, you gotta undo all the connectors, put in the different parts, make sure all the plugs are plugged in, power it on, test it out in things like 3D Mark. Obviously, it's a little bit of a video game-ish type of a take on all of that because things like plugging cables, and you just click on both ends and it plugs itself in. And that's kind of obvious because they had to do that. It is a video game, and if you were being super tedious about it, then it might not be nearly as fun, but it is a really interesting take and actually kind of fun. I played it for a few hours last night when I first got it because I was kind of excited to actually get to build PCs without building PCs in a virtual environment. And also graphics cards are actually available in PC Building Simulator, so that's good too. Let's go ahead and look at some of the gameplay of this game though. Okay, so here we are in the main menu of the game, and of course you can go into your career mode to be able to start that process of figuring out what's wrong with PCs, building new PCs, that sort of things. There's a how to build a PC button, and this would be really good for somebody that maybe doesn't really know how to build a PC. Maybe you own a pre-built, and it's probably going to walk you through here a little bit of exactly what you put in what order, that sort of thing, which is of limited value. I really feel like if you're buying this game, you probably already know how to build a PC, but maybe you have a friend that is over and you want to show them. It could be a really good visual tool for getting other people into PC gaming. So it shows the internals of the case here. Gives you instructions over here on the right. Click and hold to remove the side panel, click and hold to remove the other side panel. Right clicking, obviously you can drag the case around and manipulate it however you need. So then it's going to walk you through all the things that you have to build a PC. So we're going to remove the mount. And this is what I was talking about earlier, where you actually have to remove all these screws yourself as well. So you just click and hold, and it unscrews those, pulls that off. And then you can go into your inventory, and this gives you all the basic pieces here. Obviously, it's not giving you a whole lot of choice. It's not giving you AMD or Intel, it's just giving you Intel in this case, but we'll grab the PSU and we'll click install. Then you hold it, install it there, install your plate back, and you just tighten up all the screws. And this process repeats for every component as well. And this is the more tedious aspect of it. So we're going to go back to the main menu here, and we're going to go to free build because I haven't actually checked out free build. It's pretty easy to imagine what free build is though. This is just where you can, I'm sure, pick whatever parts you want. This is what your sort of workshop looks like. Now when you start out your career mode, and I apologize for any screen tearing, I don't know why, I think it's probably early release. This game doesn't really play well with G-Sync or even V-Sync really. So when you first start out, you actually only have this workbench. You actually have to buy these other two workbenches. Do I have inventory of anything? So inventory, I have 100% inventory of everything. So in the career mode, you obviously have to build up your inventory. In free build, everything is just put into your inventory for you. So let's go to, do we have cases here? Apparently not. So it just gives you a couple cases, I imagine. Looks like it. That's unfortunate. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and install a motherboard. Now we have, X399. I have not played with X399 at all in the main game because, well, I haven't unlocked them. With the career mode, you have to level up, and as you level up, certain parts become available and unlocked for you, and also contracts tend to get a little bit bigger in pricing. You make more money, you're playing with some more expensive components than at the start. At the start, it's things like removing a virus from a computer, or troubleshooting a computer that won't turn on, things like that. So that was tedious. Let's go ahead and grab a CPU. And of course, we're going with the 1950X. And one of the other cool things is we actually have a lot of real components in this game. It's not like made up processors. Some of you may have played the Game Dev Tycoon game, in which they didn't really have real products. But this game actually has real products. So Game Dev Tycoon, they would, instead of like Nintendo, it would be like Invento, or something that sounded really clearly obvious. The shape of everything would be the same, but they wouldn't use the actual names. In this game, they are actually using the actual names. So cool thing here, I actually reviewed the Arctic Freezer 33 Esports 1, which is also in this game, but obviously being a TR4 platform, we're going to want the TR version of this cooler. And then you even have to connect cables, and this is the extent to connecting cables. Click on one half, click on the other side where it plugs in. Really, really simple in that regard. You could argue that cable management could be added to this game, and who knows, maybe they'll add an advanced mode where you actually do have to cable manage. So we're going to go with the Silverstone 1000 watt power supply. Seems like a logical choice here. Spin this case around. So I actually lied. We're going to go ahead and use the 1300 watt power supply because I don't think this one has enough motherboard connectors, actually. Either that, or maybe it's just not having you connect all those. Maybe it just sort of pretends that that exists. That's interesting. So we're going to leave that alone. I'm not going to put this back plate back on yet because I don't need to power up the computer. In the career mode, you can actually unlock a tool that lets you plug in all these cables at once by just hitting the power button on the PC. We're also going to go ahead and, we're going to go ahead and need this guy. Then we're on cycle power here. And now we're booting into Omega Systems, or Omega S. If only installing an operating system was that fast. So these are the apps sort of that you can run. You can actually install a store as well and run a store on these computers. Will It Run sort of gives you the minimum and recommended system specs for several different games. You can actually run on a 3D Mark test, which is required in a lot of the career mode things. And after you install these, you have to restart the computer and it's installed on the system. So for example, if we go ahead and install system info, when it's done, ask you if you want to restart now. You click yes. Once it restarts, then you are good to go and you can click into the app. And this is what we are running. We are running at, wow, in the 70s degrees Celsius. And I did include thermal paste, so that's not my fault. It's just a hot processor apparently. So we can shut this computer down and sort of step away from that. That is the free build mode. Now I will briefly go ahead and show you the career mode. Let's go ahead and go back to the main menu and hop back into my career, which I played quite a bit of last night. So career mode is fun. So you'll notice that I don't have my third table yet. I believe I can build it, I just am not level 8 yet. And I don't know if I do not have any contracts right now. So I need to build a system. It's good to know. In transit. So I actually need to pick out parts and buy parts for a system that's gonna play PC, or Dota 2 rather, at minimum specs. So one of the things I wanna look at is, what is minimum spec for Dota 2? So I'm gonna need an R9 280, which I might actually have one of those, I'm not sure. A G4500, a hard drive. Hard drives are cheap, so I'm just gonna throw in a hard drive I have. 3 gigs of VRAM and 4 gigs of system. So a G4500 along with an R9 280. Let's see if I have an R9 280 in here. I do, so I don't need to buy that. Do I have a, was it G4500? I have a G4400. I do not have a 4500. However, I do have a 6320 and Broken Celeron can get sold. I wonder if the minimum specs would register if I actually use a Ryzen quad core. Could save a little bit of money and just get myself a Ryzen motherboard here. And since I already have Ryzen processor, I'm just gonna find a B350. That's $110. That's the cheapest I can get away with right now. It looks like it, so I'm gonna add that to my cart. I need to go to a power supply, find a cheap power supply. There's $50. Probably go with this guy. Need a case. 80 is the cheapest right now in this game, at least it seems like, so I'm not just gonna grab this case. Just for random systems that I gotta throw a cooler back in, so what I've been doing is just sort of picking up several of these whenever I get a chance, or when I know I'm gonna need some, and ditto for the RAM. 4 gigabytes of RAM. Okay, and I try to bulk order because shipping does cost money here, and normally I just do next day shipping, so I have it on hand immediately. And I'm gonna go ahead and click buy now. So the rest of the systems are in transit. They'll show up the next day. So I just walk to my door and I exit. And on the next day, all this stuff is waiting for me. So in my inventory, I'm gonna go ahead and build this system again, and I'm gonna stick this build right to this so I can get going. So I have a couple tools that actually help me out a lot. First of all, I have a tool that automatically unscrews things when I click on the particular screw, so that's really helpful. Let's go ahead and install that motherboard. And here's why it's really helpful. I can just sort of drag around. Much less tedious this way. How would you feel if you went to a computer store and bought a new computer with used parts in it? I might be a shady company here. Okay, so the system is put together, and yes, it does accept the Ryzen part as meeting that minimum system spec, even though it doesn't specify an AMD system on it, so we are good to go there. And if we circle over here to the system, it now boots. So if I hover over the PC, I have met my objectives there, and I can now put the rest of the PC back together. This guy is ready to go, so all you do is you right-click on it, pick it up, take it over towards the door, drop it back down, head to your PC, and you just have to click collect. And look at that. For that system, which I already had a lot of the parts, I am collecting over $1,200. How would you feel about paying $1,200 for something like an R9 280 along with a Ryzen 3 1300X? I feel pretty cheated, but that's how this game works. So here we go. Just go ahead and click collect, and it pops into my account. I can discard that email. I now can buy that graphics card. And I now have more job offers. Now with these, you can only do 3 at a time, and when you click reject, another one pops up. So if you don't like something like upgrade a PC for a really low cost, just click reject and accept something else that's a little bit more lucrative. Complete side note here, but I also do love the diagnose and fix ones. They are by far, at least in my mind, the most fun of the different contract types you can get. So I always try to accept those if the money's okay. Okay, so that is my look at PC Building Simulator. It's actually really fun just to mess around. Definitely the career mode, in my mind, though, is the most fun. There is some learning opportunity for somebody that may not know anything about PC building, but not something that that person would likely buy the game for, so really they kind of have to rely on their friends to have the game. And being an indie game that just released for early access, it's probably not going to have a whole lot of a crowd that's buying this game. The other side to it is it's already a niche type simulator anyways, but it also costs, a regular price looks like it's going to be about $20. So that is a hard sell for me. I'm not really sure it's worth the $20 price tag of admission, but maybe, you know, $10, $15 if you catch it on a sale. Like I said, right now it's got a few dollars off until something like early April. So if you're interested in this game, it may not be a bad time to go ahead and pick it up. But if you like this content, go ahead and give it a like, share, subscribe, and comment. And let me know down below if this is a game that interests you like whatsoever. Is this a genre that you're even a little bit interested in? Let me know down below. And you can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter, as always, at Hoosier Hardware. They are the same tag for your convenience. And also, as always, I'll go ahead and let YouTube queue up a couple more videos from my channel for you to watch. I'm Shane with Hoosier Hardware, and I'll see you guys in the next video.